Hey there, everybody. Welcome to the final episode of Manic Monday, at least for now. Up until this point, I had said it was a strat-free zone, but since I'm playing the final game of Manic Monday in the series, at least, like I said, it's been done here in the last couple of months, decided to go ahead and break that tradition and use strat-o-matic baseball, and there's a reason for it. I've done some videos in the past where I've been kind of honoring or paying homage to previous YouTube creators that have had an influence on me. And so this game is no different coming up. In the past, I've done one for Steve Tower and Al Wilson in History Maker Baseball, playing the Phillies, 77 Phillies against the 2013 Boston Red Sox. I think that was actually in Strat. I'm not 100% sure. I have to go back and look at the video, but now that I think about it, it should have been History Maker Baseball because that's their game. So I don't remember which Boston team I chose, but it may have been the 17 Red Sox. Not 100% sure on that. I have to go back and look at that video and figure it out. I know 77 Phillies were on there. May have been 77 Red Sox against 77 Phillies now that I think about it. But anyway, I did want to do a video because those two guys were big influences on me when I first started. They actually got me started and got me interested in even playing board games on the on YouTube and trying to even create a channel whatsoever. So that's why I did that. And then more recently, I did a Bob Stanley game in honor of, or to pay homage to, Ron Juckett of Retro Sports Network. I had him play a Bob Stanley game for me from 1987 opening day on his channel using Action PC Baseball. So I thought I would, if I'll make him suffer, I'll suffer myself. So I played the exact same game in, I believe it was in History Maker Baseball. It may have been strat-o-matic. I don't remember. Some of these things are getting fuzzy on me after a while. It's part of getting old, I suppose. But anyway, I did that as you know, to pay an homage to Ron Juckett from Retro Sports Network. And the other one I can think of off the top of my head was for ID Jester. He did his 1989 Kansas City Royals replay using Inside Pitch. And one of the pitchers on the Kansas City Royals, Mark Gubaza, and ID either, I think he did it as a joke because I think he knows the real pronunciation, but he used to call him Gubaza. So I in turn did an Inside Pitch game using the Royals and I believe the Angels from 1984, and it was a Mark Gubaza / Gubaza start, kind of in homage to ID Jester. If I haven't gotten to a tribute game for somebody that's a content creator that I'm well familiar with, I probably will get to it eventually. But right now, the most notable people I can think of that had influence on what I was doing are the two Earls, the Tabletop Plus channel, Earl Shamblin and Earl Reed, Tabletop Earl and Tenacious Earl as they're known. And so I decided to take two teams that I know they both like. Earl Shamblin, Tabletop Earl, big Texas Rangers fan, so going to use the Texas Rangers. And for Earl Reed, Tenacious Earl, he's a big Phillies fan. So I thought, what two teams could I pit against each other? And the most obvious choice to me was the 2011. Both teams in 2011 made the playoffs. The Phillies were ousted by the eventual world champion Cardinals in the divisional series. And of course the Rangers also ousted by the Cardinals in the World Series. So I'm going to play a game to honor the Tabletop Baseball Plus channel with the two Earls, Battle of the Earls if you want to call it that, between the Texas Rangers and the Philadelphia Phillies. I took the rosters from the playoff team, or playoff rosters from each team, took the divisional series roster from the Phillies and took the World Series roster from the Rangers, and I put in the lineups as best I could based on actual lineups they used during those games. So we'll see how it plays out. And again, it is going to be on strat-o-matic. I'm going to play it advanced because that's just what I'm the most comfortable with and the quickest I can get it done. The game's going to be played at the ballpark in Arlington. And I did that because I want to use the DH for simplicity purposes. So It'll be the Phillies at the Rangers. Let's look at starting pitchers for today's game. First for the Rangers, the home team, it'll be left-hander C.J. Wilson, and on the 2011 season he was 16-7 with a 2.94 ERA. And going for the Phillies, it'll be Roy Halladay. 2011 he was 19-6 with a 2.35 ERA. So good pitching matchup. Let's go through the lineups very quickly. First for the visiting Phillies, and we will be using a DH, so I kind of had to adjust their lineup slightly, but this is pretty much the lineup they had in game 1 of the divisional series. Jimmy Rollins at short will lead off. Utley at second will hit second. Hunter Pence at third will bat in right field will bat third. Ryan Howard's the cleanup man at first base. Shane Victorino, the flying Hawaiian, is in center field. He'll hit fifth. John Mayberry is going to play left field. In the divisional series, Ibanez played left, but you need a DH, and Ibanez is not a good fielder. So we're going to put Mayberry, who's a much better fielder, in left, and have Ibanez DH and bat seventh. Placido Polanco's at third base hitting eighth, and Carlos Ruiz, the catcher, bats ninth. For the Rangers, leading off at second base is Ian Kinsler. Batting second at short is Elvis Andrews. Batting third in center field is Josh Hamilton. Batting cleanup at DH is Mike Young. Hitting fifth at third base is Adrian Beltre. Hitting sixth at right field, Nelson Cruz. Batting seventh and playing first base is Mike Napoli. Hitting eighth in left field is David Murphy. And batting ninth is the catcher, Torrealba. And of course we have Halladay against Wilson. Now let's look at the bench players. So these are the guys that I pulled off the World Series / Division Series rosters. And these are the guys they'll have available to either pinch hit or come in from the bullpen. For the Phillies, on their bench, they have Ben Francisco, Ross Glode, Michael Martinez, backup catcher Brian Schneider, and Wilson Valdez. So they've got those guys that they could use off the bench if they need them. In the bullpen, you've got Antonio Bastardo, Michael Stutz, Joe Blanton, Vance Worley, Ryan Madsen, David Herndon, and then we get into the starters, so we won't be using those, but that's who they have available. And for the Rangers, we'll look at their bench. They have Mitch Moreland, Andy Chavez, Craig Gentry, and Julio Bourbon. So that's the bench for the Rangers. In the bullpen, they have Neftali Felice, Mike Gonzalez, Alexi Agando, Darren Oliver, Mike Adams, and Mark Lowe. And then you get to the starters. So that's who they have available, or who I have available to use. So if you wonder why somebody didn't get used in the pen or as a pinch hitter, it's because they're not on the roster. So we are now ready to go, 8 minutes in. This is my tribute to the Battle of the Earls. And we are all set to go. C.J. Wilson finishing up his warm-up tosses. Will be facing Jimmy Rollins, and this certainly could have been a 2011 World Series had the Phillies gotten by the Cardinals, but just didn't work out that way. So here we go. Jimmy Rollins, switch hitter, batting right-handed against C.J. Wilson. Again, this is sort of like the White Sox. It's advanced, but the fielding's super advanced. We've got a 6-7, and against the righty for Wilson, because he's switch hitter batting right. 6-7's a ground ball, second base X. We got a fielding chance right away for the second baseman of the Rangers, Ian Kinsler. And if you look at Ian Kinsler's card, he is a 2E12. It's a 2E12. Get a 2 and an 18, he'll get to that. E12 and an 8 as an infielder, second baseman. Let's check the E12 and make sure there's no 8 there. E12, there is no 8, so it's a good play for Ian Kinsler. So Rollins is out of there, one away. And I live close to a fire station. That's why in a lot of my videos you'll hear fire trucks going by. Hopefully everybody's okay. Here's Chase Utley, lefty on lefty, 4-8. 4-8's a walk, so Chase Utley will draw a 1-out walk. And he's a B stealer. He will be held. Don't know if he's going to go anywhere. Torrealba's arm is a -1, so that kind of hurts him even more. So you lose -3. Take him out. It's basically a 50-50 shot. So with the big boys coming up, Pence and Howard, we'll go ahead and have him swing away. 210 against the lefty for Hunter Pence, and he grounds the third into a double play. Ground ball, third base, A. Wouldn't you know that? If you didn't put a play on, they were going to run it. They were going to hit into the double play. So it's kind of like you're darned if you do and darned if you don't. So innings over. Nothing going on there for the Phils. Sorry about that, Mr. Tenacious, if you're watching. Maybe we'll do some more running as the game wears along. Here's Roy Halladay. And they're facing Ian Kinsler to start things off, righty on righty. We get a 3-4. 3-4 for Ian Kinsler. And he gets hit by the pitch, so right away Halladay plunks him. Hopefully there's no ill will between the Earls here. Kinsler is a double-A stealer, certainly a threat to steal. He stole 30 bases, only caught 4 times. The catcher in this game, Ruiz, for the Phillies, is a -1 arm, but double-A starts out as a 17. -1 from the arm makes it a 16, -2 for being held makes him a 14. So 1 to 14, he'll make it. 20 got thrown out. Boy, the D20 was not kind to Kinsler there. So he is out of there, caught stealing. We'll call it 2 to 4 as he throws to Utley to apply the tag. 1 out, bases clear for Elvis Andrews. 6-5, struck him out. So Halladay coming back with a strikeout. So 2 down, and that brings up Josh Hamilton. Could have had a real great career, but just had problems with substance abuse. 1-9, home run chance. 1 to 15 would do it. 1 to 15, and Josh Hamilton will go deep. And he does. It's a 7, so it's a home run for Josh Hamilton. And the Rangers take a 1-0 lead off of Halladay. As Tabletop Earl gets the lead 1-0. Here's Mike Young, 2-6. 2-6 is a ground ball to short. Rollins fields it. Innings over, but the Rangers, on that Josh Hamilton homer, take a 1-0 lead as we go to the second here in Arlington. And enjoying that lead, C.J. Wilson coming back out. We'll be facing Ryan Howard, lefty on lefty. 6-10, ground ball to first, handled over there by Napoli. 1 away. That'll bring up Victorino, the flying Hawaiian. 4-6, switch hitter batting right. 4-6, struck him out. Wilson gets the strikeout, and that'll bring up Mayberry. 210 against the lefty, and that's a home run. John Mayberry. That's why he's in there. Look at that look at that column 2 against lefties. All those home runs. He found it. 210. Not doing ballpark effects, so that's a solid home run for Mayberry. And Mayberry just tied the score 1-1 with that blast. And now that brings up the DH, Raul Ibanez. 6-7 against Wilson. Ground ball second base X. That is Ian Kinsler. And as we've seen earlier, Kinsler, a 2E12. 2 and an 8, he'll get to that. And let's see, E12 and a 14. E12 and a 14. There is no 14. There's a 15, but no 14. So a good play for Kinsler. Ends the inning, but the home run by Mayberry ties the score 1-1. And Earl versus Earl. I feel like playing that song Duke of Earl, but get a copyright strike for doing that. So, all right, here is Adrian Beltre facing Halladay. 6-9 for Halladay. Ground ball shortstop X. That's Jimmy Rollins. And Rollins defensively 1E8, so very good. We know he's going to get to it. Don't even need the D20. E8 and a 17, though, could be interesting. E8, and there is a 17. Look at this. Shortstop E8, a 17 is right there. 16 and 17 are errors. We just rolled a 17, so it's a 1 base error on Jimmy Rollins. Unlikely error, but Beltre will reach on the E6. So Beltre's aboard. Here's Nelson Cruz, and Beltre is an E stealer. He will not be held. 110 for Cruz. Strikeout plus injury, but we're not doing injuries, so it's just a 1 game one-off, so don't want to penalize for that. Here's Napoli. 2-11 for Napoli. 211. That is a solid single to right field. Now the question is, can Beltre move to second? He's an E runner, which numerically he's a 12. He was not being held, gives him a 13. The right fielder arm, in this case Hunter Pence, his arm is a -3, so you're not going to run on him. So Beltre will play the station-to-station game. Runners at first and second, one away. For David Murphy, left fielder. 4-6 against Holiday, 4-6, and he came through. 1-7 is a double, 8-20 is a single. Either way, it's 2 stars. And a run will score. It's a 16, so it's a single, 2 stars, and Beltre will score, and that error comes back to bite them as the Rangers have reclaimed the lead now, 2-1. Napoli goes to third, so runners are still at the corners. Murphy's a B stealer. He will be held. And here's Torrealba. 6-7. Fly ball right field B. That's a sacrifice fly. So Torrealba gets the RBI on that sac fly to Pence. 2 down, but Napoli scores. And the Rangers now lead it 3-1. So tabletop with the advantage. Here's Ian Kinsler. 6-7. Fly ball right field B, the same roll again, but this time's third out, so inning's over. But 2 runs come on, and they're just roughing up Doc Holliday here in the first 2 innings. Put that potent Ranger lineup. And truth be told, they probably should have beaten St. Louis in the series. Although I wanted St. Louis, I'm a St. Louis fan, but I really thought Texas had the better team, but just didn't work out that way. All right, here's Placido Polanco. 4-5. Struck him out. So Wilson, getting the juice from that run support, gets the strikeout there. And that brings up number 9 hitter Carlos Ruiz. Ruiz is 6-7. Ground ball second base X. That again is Mr. Kinsler, and he's had a couple of chances already, and we know he's a 2E12 from previous chances. 2-9, he'll make the play. 12 and a 12. 12 and a 12 is a good play. And that's going to be out number 2. Kinsler takes care of Ruiz. 2 up, 2 down for Jimmy Rollins. He grounded to Kinsler his first chance. 2-9 against a lefty. 2-9. Pops it up to short. Andrews has got it. 3 up, 3 down. Easy inning for Mr. Wilson. And we go to the bottom of the third. Still 3-1 Rangers. And Roy Halladay. We'll see if he can have a clean inning for a change. He's going to have to face Andrews to lead things off. Struck him out his first trip, 4-9. Strike him out again. So Andrews 0 for 2 with 2 Ks. And there's Josh Hamilton. Took him deep last time. 110 for Hamilton. He's not going to take him deep, but he might get a triple. 1-3 is a triple. 4-20 is a double. So Hamilton doing all kinds of damage. It's a 1, so that's a triple for Hamilton. He's off to a good start to get the cycle. He's already got a homer and a triple, so he's gotten the hard part out of the way. Just have to get the single and double. And the infield's going to come in with 1 out. The way Wilson's dealing, they're going to try to cut that run off. 6-5, Young, 6-5, struck him out. So Halladay, a big strikeout there for out number 2. Infield can return to normal for Beltre. 5-7. Struck him out, so Halladay comes back to strike out the side after giving up that triple. And keeps the Rangers right where they are. It's 3-1 after 3. And that'll bring up Wilson back out. They're both 7s on their fatigue, so if they pitch well, they can keep going for a while. Utley will lead things off. Ground into a double play his first trip. 2-7 against the lefty. 1-4 is a single. Anything else, he will line it to first base. That's an 18, so he lines it to first. Handled over there by Napoli, 1 away. Here's Hunter Pence. Pence, a 2-6 against the lefty. Ground ball to third, handled over there by Beltre. 2 up, 2 down, and Wilson's in a groove. Phillies can't get anything going. Here's Ryan Howard. Howard a 4-9 against the lefty. 1-16 is a single. Anything else, he will line it to Napoli. It's a 5, so he snuck it past Napoli for a 2-out single. He will not be held as the E stealer, so he will not be held, obviously. Here's Shane Victorino. 6-7. Ground ball second base X, and again, Kinsler getting a lot of work over there. 2E12. 2 and a 19, he'll get to that. E12 and a 7. There is no 7, so it's good play. And that's going to end the inning, so Kinsler's been up to the task every time. And Wilson rolling along with a 3-1 lead as we go to the bottom of the 4th. And Nelson Cruz will lead things off. Cruz facing Holiday. 4-8. 4-8 for Holiday. Struck him out. So Holiday, another strikeout. He's racking up the Ks, but had that rough second inning. Here's Napoli. 6-2. That's a fly ball to left. We're not doing the split. We're doing advance. So we're just taking that first roll there, which is a fly to left. Would have been a 1-2 single chance. So probably would have been out anyway, but since we're doing just advanced, we don't do that split. Here's Murphy. 1-5 for Murphy. That's a solid single. So Murphy, a 2-out single. He's 2 for 2. He's a beast dealer. He will be held, but I don't think he's going to go anywhere. Here's Torrealba. 2-7 for Torrealba, and that's a solid double. Possibly 1-12, 13-20 is a single. 2 stars either way. It's a double, but it's 2 stars, so Murphy will not be able to score, but it will put runners at second and third with 2 outs. And now Holiday has to bear down here against Kinsler. 6-4, fly ball center field X. That is Victorino. And the flying Hawaiian, fielding wise, is a 1E0. So we know he makes the play and we know he'll get to it. So there's no sense in even rolling that unless there was a chance for a sac fly. But that's the 3rd out, so there's no point in even rolling that at all. He will make the play, and the inning is over. So that's going to do it. We go to the 5th. Still a 3-1 ball game. Now here's Mayberry. He homered for the only run of the game. See if he can spark something for the Phillies for Tenacious Earl. 1-4. Not this time. He fouls out to Torrealba. 1 away. And that brings up Ibanez, the DH. Even though it's lefty on lefty, he still hits lefties fairly well. 2-7. Well, not this time. He struck him out, but he does have some stuff here in column 2 that could do damage, but not 2-7. 2-7, he strikes out. That'll bring up Blanco. 3-3. 3-3 against a lefty. It's a ground ball to second. Handled again by Kinsler. And Wilson has tossed 5 innings of nearly flawless baseball. The home run by Mayberry is really his only blemish. And we go to the bottom of the 5th. And so with the DH, you don't have to worry about the pitchers hitting, so your pitching change is solely based on performance, not on pinch hitting. Here's Elvis Andrus, 3-11, and solid single for Andrus. So after striking out twice, he comes back with a solid single. He's a double-A stealer, so you know he's going to be running. And we've already calculated that that is a 1-14 chance. That's a 5, so this time he did make it. So while Kinsler was caught stealing, Andrus did make it. So it puts runner at second with nobody out for Josh Hamilton, who's homered and tripled. Almost tempted to walk him, but we'll let him swing away. 4-9 against Holiday, and that's a solid single. 2 stars, that'll score the run. And Hamilton's 3/4 of the way to a cycle. So it is now a 4-1 ball game. Hamilton's a C stealer. He will be held, but will not go anywhere. And the Philly bullpen starting to stir down there now. 5-2 for Holiday. Ground ball second base X. That is Utley. And if we look at Utley's defensive ratings, Utley is a 2E8. So possible double play chance. You can get a good D20 result. 2 and a 17. That would be a double play. That would be a G1. Can he make the play? It's a 9. It's an E8. There is no 9, so it's a double play. 4-6-3. And that will quickly make 2 outs as Young grounds into the double play. 2 outs, base is empty for Adrian Beltre. 2-9 for Beltre, and that's a solid home run right there, no doubt about it. Beltre, 2-9 home run. So Beltre goes deep. And Doc Holliday just doesn't seem to have it tonight. Or today, however you want to look at it. Here's Nelson Cruz, just trying to get him through the fifth. 210. 210 is a 1 triple. 2 to 20 is a double. So Tabletop Earl getting the bragging rights at least through the first 5 innings. And let's see if Napoli, if he can't get Napoli, he might have to come out. 2-5, and that's a home run for Napoli. Look at that, 2-5, solid home run. It wouldn't matter who was pitching on that one. 2-run job for Napoli, and the Rangers have blown this thing wide open. Tabletop Earl is grinning from ear to ear. Maybe a belated birthday present for him, seeing these Rangers do all these things. That's going to be all for Holliday. He's going to come out. And Antonio Bastardo, the lefty, will be coming on to face the lefty Murphy. So Bastardo coming on, and Holliday having a rough outing, to say the least. He's going to end up going 4 2/3, giving up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 runs, 6 earned. And they came on 3 home runs. Faced 25 batters. And let's see, he hit a batter, so I got to make that correction. He did hit Kinsler. Walks and strikeouts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 Ks I've got him for. I don't have him for any walks. So he hit a batter but no walks, but he gave a bunch of hits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I got unofficially 11 hits, so a very nasty line for Holliday. Let's look at it real quickly. 4 2/3, 25 batters faced, 11 hits, 7 runs, 6 earns. 3 of them were home runs. No walks, 6 strikeouts, but he did hit a batter. And subject to take the loss, as it's now 7-1. But now Murphy will be facing lefty Antonio Bastardo. 3-10 Murphy against a left-hander. Ground ball to short. Rollins has got it. The inning's over. But damage done with 4 runs here in the 5th. And at the end of 5 complete, it is Texas cruising by the score of 7-1. So C.J. Wilson back out with that huge lead. Be facing the bottom of the order, Carlos Ruiz, and then we go back to the top of the order. Ruiz 2-2 against a lefty. He's going to pop it out to short. Pops it up to Andrews, 1 away. Back to the top of the order, and Jimmy Rollins. 5-9. In home run chance, 1-7, and he does have normal power. So 1-7 is a homer. 8-20 would be a double. That's a 4, so it's a home run for Jimmy Rollins. So both Phillies runs have been solo home runs. Does cut the lead to 7-2. But the Phillies would like to have somebody on base when they're doing these home runs. 3-8 for Utley. Pops it up to second. And by Kinsler, 2 down for Hunter Pence. 5-3. Ground ball first base X. That is Napoli. Let's check his prowess at first base. He is a 4 E6. So not very good. 4 and a 13. I think he'll get to that. He does. And there's a 5. And anytime there's a 5 means that there's a rare play. So we got a rare play on, let's see, the 13, 4 and a 13 is a G3. So we go to the G3 chart for the rare play. G3 rare play. Batter lines a shot that hits this mound and deflects to the fielder who makes the play at first for the out. So it's not really all that rare, but that's what came up. So I guess you want to be technical about it. You could do, let's see. I'm just going to call it a ground out to first. I'm not even going to worry about it. All right, so the run scores on the home run by Rollins, of all people. And we go to the bottom of the 6th. Bastardo's still in there, facing Torrealba. Kinsler, and Andrews. 4-8 against a right-hander. 4-8, ground ball to third. Just missed that home run chance. Good thing for him. One away, and that brings up Ian Kinsler. 5-7, ground ball second base X. That is Utley, and Utley is a 2-E8. 2 and a 10, he'll get to that. E8 and a 13. There is no 13, so it's good play for Mr. Utley. 2 down, that brings up Kinsler. I'm sorry, Andrews. Kinsler just hit. 1-7 for Andrews, ground ball to short, and that's going to end the inning. So Bastardo goes an inning and a third. That's going to be all for him. He's not usually used to going that many hitters. Only faced 4 batters, got them all out. So he did a fine job in relief. And we'll get a new Phillies pitcher in the 7th. Right now we go to the top of the 7th. It is 7-2 favor of the Rangers. And this is the point of weakness inning for C.J. Wilson. And coming into the to pitch will be Joe Blanton, I do believe. Or is it going to be Worley? Let's see here. No, we're not going to have them either. Yeah, they're going to go ahead and use guy I never really heard of that much, Michael Stutz. Michael Stutz, I guess is how you pronounce that. Stutz, but I'm pronouncing it Stutz. So Stutz will be the new pitcher for the Phillies when the bottom of the 7th rolls around. Right now, Wilson facing Ryan Howard. Start the top of the 7th, 4-7 against a lefty. Struck him out. There's a dot there, but he's not tired yet. So the strikeout is a good one. 1 away, and that brings up Shane Victorino. 2-4 against the lefty. He will draw a walk. So 1-out walk for Victorino. Could think about stealing. He is an ace stealer, but you're down 7-2, so you don't want to run yourself out of an inning. And you do have Mayberry coming up, who homered in his first at bat. 3-11, fly ball to center. And that's 2 away. Brings up Ibanez. Raul Ibanez. 1-5 for Ibanez, struck him out. So that's going to end the inning. We go to the bottom of the 7th, still 7-2 favor of Texas. And the eyes of Texas are shining on Tabletop Earl and his Rangers. Right now, Stutz is in to face Hamilton, who is a double away from the cycle. He is homered, tripled, and singled in his 3 at-bats against Holiday. What will he do against Stutz? 1-7. Oh, 1-6 would have been a double, would have been the cycle, but a 1-7 is a ground ball to second. So by 1 number, he missed the cycle. Could have been a cycle. Still might have another, well, probably not. Since they're the home team, he's probably not going to get that extra at bat. 1-7 for Young, he will walk. So Young walks, but 7-2, he's a D stealer, he's not going to be held anyway. Here's Beltre. That is a 5-3, ground ball pitcher X. He is a 4E51. Ooh, that's not too good, is it? 4E51, 4 and a 3, I'm sure that's a hit. Just got to check for an error. 4-3 is a single with 1 star. E51, and what number do we have? We have a 13. E51's at the bottom of the list, and 13 is right there. So it's a single plus an error on Stutz. So we have a single plus an error. So Young will make it to third. And Beltre will end up at second base. Single plus the E1. Second error of the game on the Phillies, as Rollins had one earlier. So runners at second and third. 1 out. Infield's in, facing Nelson Cruz. In fact, they're going to go ahead and intentionally walk Cruz and try to get the double play. Although Napoli did homer his last time up, but they're still playing the percentages to get that double play and get out of the inning. So they're at double play depth. 4-7. Struck him out. So Stutz gets the strikeout. 2 down. Now he can just try to worry about getting Murphy out. 2-5 for Murphy. Ground ball to second. That's going to end the inning. Nobody was being held because the bases were loaded, so easy play there. Stutes goes through the 7th. Some issues, but got through it. So now we go to the top of the 8th, and we'll get a new pitcher for the Phillies in the bottom of the 8th. It'll be Ryan Madson. Since he probably won't get to pitch anyway, you might as well go ahead and bring him in. So Wilson actually will go ahead and come out. They're going to go ahead and go to their bullpen for the Rangers, just so we can show off some of their bullpen. And the bullpen, let's see, Polanco's coming up. So we have Polanco, Ruiz, and Rollins. And they're going to go to Neftali Feliz. Neftali Feliz is on. Wilson goes 7 innings and faces just 25 batters. Gave up both runs on home runs. Let's see what else he gave up. Walked 1, 2. He walked 2. Struck out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 strikeouts. How many hits? 1, 2, 3. He only gave up 3 hits. A single by Ryan Howard and 2 solo home runs. So that's the book on Wilson. 7 innings pitched, 3 hits, 2 runs. They were both off the home runs, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts. And of course projected to get the win. So right now Polanco facing Feliz. 5-11, and that is a fly ball left field X. That is Murphy. Murphy, the left fielder, is a 3-E6. So 3-E6. 3 and a 5, that is a little questionable. Let's see. 3 and a 5 for an outfielder. 3 and a 5 is a single 2 stars. So let's see here, it's a 9, and he's an E6. There is no 9, so it's a base hit. It'll drop in front of him for a base hit, so Polanco, leadoff single. Brings up Carlos Ruiz. 2-6 for Ruiz, and that's a solid single to left field. That'll put runners at first and second with nobody out. Maybe the Phillies can make a run here off the Texas bullpen. Here's Jimmy Rollins. He homered his last time up. 5-9. Switch hitter batting left. 5-9. Ground ball shortstop X. That's Elvis Andrews. And Andrews is a 1-E29. So chance for a double play, most likely. Don't know about the E29 part. 1 and a 17 is definitely a double play opportunity. E29 and a 7. There is no 7, so it's a double play. 6-4-3. And that's a big double play to thwart any kind of rally. Polanco does go to third, but now there are 2 outs. And that brings up Chase Utley. 2-3 for Utley. Ground ball to first. That's going to end the inning. So a promising start comes up nothing for the Phillies. As Tenacious probably shakes his head. And at the end of 7.5, it is still 7-2 in favor of the Rangers. That's it for Feliz. He will come out. He pitched his 1 inning. And he faced 4 batters, giving up 2 hits, but no runs. No strikeouts, no walks, no nothing. And Stutes, let's see what Stutes did for his 1 inning. Stutes, 2 walks and a base hit. And he also got a strikeout, but no runs. That was the more important part. And he faced 6 batters. So now Ryan Madson, who was their closer, is going to come on, because when else are you going to use him? If you don't use him in this inning, they're not going to make it to the 9th. So you might as well go ahead and use him now, since it's a one-off. Obviously, if it was a series, you wouldn't do this. But since it's a one-off, we'll put him in. Going to face Torrealba, the catcher, to lead off the bottom of the 8th. 2-5. 2-5 is a solid single for Torrealba. So he's 2 for 3. Single, double, and a sac fly. Here's Kinsler. He will not be held. He's an E-stealer. 4-9 for Madson. Ground ball shortstop X. That's Rollins. Chance for a double play. And Rollins is a 1-E8. 1 and a 4. 1 and a 4 is actually not going to be a double play. It's a G2, which is a fielder's choice. And that's a 10. There is no error on a 10, but it's only going to be a fielder's choice, no double play. So that's a 6-4 fielder's choice. That D20 number 4 too low to get the double play. But since he was a 1 fielder, at least prevented the hit. Here's Elvis Andrews, 5-5 against Madsen, struck him out. 2 down, and that brings up Josh Hamilton. Last chance to get that double for the cycle. 4-12, 4-12. Nope, it's a fly to left, so he does not get the cycle. And that's going to end the inning. So, and of course, they're probably not going to bat in the 9th. I'll go ahead and put the X there with pretty safe bet that they're not going to bat. So I'm going to go ahead and put the X there. I know some people don't like to do that prematurely, but I think it's a pretty safe bet. So we go to the 9th, and we'll get a new pitcher for the Rangers. Let's finish up Madsen real quick. Faced 4 batters, gave up a hit. And I believe he got a strikeout. Yeah, 1 strikeout, no walks, nothing else. So total hits for the Rangers is 13. So 7 and 13 for the Rangers through 8 innings. Phillies have 2 runs on 5 hits through 8 innings. And now we go to the 9th, and it will be Mike Adams. So Mike Adams will be on to pitch the 9th for the Rangers. Right-hander. Will be facing Pence, Howard, and Victorino. Pence, Howard, and Victorino. Let's move this back over here where you can see it, hopefully. Pence, Howard, and Victorino. 2-5. 2-5 for Pence. Struck him out. So Pence is out on strikes. Brings up Ryan Howard. 4-10. Fly ball to right. That's 2 down. So it looks like Tabletop's going to get the better of Tenacious in this one. Here's Victorino, 6-3, switch hitter batting left, 6-3 is a fly ball left field X. That's Murphy, and Murphy in the outfield is a 3 E6. 3-12, he'll get to that. 3-12 will actually be an F2, and that's an 11 as an E6. There is no 11. It's a good play. That's the ball game. Murphy makes the catch. And that's it for the Phillies and Tenacious Earl. So Tabletop gets the best of Tenacious. We'll close up here. The winner is Wilson. The loser, Holiday, of course. 1 strikeout, nothing else. 3 batters faced, no hits. So the Phillies can only muster 3 hits in this game. 2 of them were solo homers. A little messy with my score sheet writing here as I'm writing around my camera. So not very artistic with the writing here, but the information is, I guess, is what's important. Let's look at the left on base for each team. Phillies didn't leave a whole lot on because they didn't have many batters reach. In fact, we've got 1 left on right here, and 2 there, and 2 there. They only left 4 runners on base the whole game. Now the Rangers left on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I got them for 8. So, final score here from Arlington. It is the Rangers 7, the Phillies 2. It's supposed to be a 13 there. I didn't write it very well, obviously. But 7 runs, 13 hits, no errors, and 8 left on for Texas. 2 runs, 3 hits, 2 errors, and 4 left on for the Phillies. Winning pitcher was C.J. Wilson. The loser was Doc Holliday. Player of the game, Josh Hamilton. He started things off with a homer, then had a triple and a single, so he was involved in a whole lot of stuff going on there, and really got him off to a good start. And you could also give it to Wilson for pitching so well, but maybe co-players of the game will give it to Wilson and Hamilton together. But either way, there you go. The Battle of the Earls, and it's, I guess, the senior member of the Earls, Tabletop, that comes out on top with his Texas Rangers from 2011 beating the 2011 Phillies in a 1-game, maybe what-if World Series here in Arlington. So that's it from the ballpark in Arlington. Last Manic Monday game for a while, as starting in a couple of days, I'll be doing a 30 and 30 project, much like ESPN's got a program called 30 and 30. I'm doing a 30 and 30 project with History Maker Baseball, playing the current pennant races. So I'm going to play a game. It'll be 30 videos in 30 days, basically, or thereabouts. And depending on when the actual game is played, if it's a day game, then I'll put the video out the same day. If it's a night game, then I'll put the video out the next morning. So it just depends on, you know, the schedule and so forth. Now the first game to be played will be on Friday, August 30th. I happen to be off that day took that day off to have an early start on the Labor Day weekend. So it's Milwaukee visiting Chicago. So the Brewers and the Cubs. And if you follow the pennant race right now, you know they're nip and tuck along with the Cardinals. So I'm going to try to pick a game every day, different teams, but a game that has the most impact on the playoff for this 2019 season. So look for that coming up shortly via History Maker Baseball in-season set. I ordered that on Thursday, and it was shipped on Friday, so hopefully it'll come either later today as you're watching this on Monday, or at worst, hopefully it'll come on the 27th on Tuesday, so that I can get it going, get everything sorted on Wednesday and Thursday, and get it all prepped and ready to go for Friday. And like I said, it'll be 30 and 30, so it'll be 30 videos. May not be one a day, might be 2 in one day, and because on certain Friday nights, I'm not going to be home to play a game because I'll be at the high school football game. So maybe doing double duty on a Saturday. We'll see how it goes, and I've got the schedule already laid out, but if my replay pennant race starts changing away from the real pennant race, then I'll just pick whatever game is most important in my pennant race. The other thing I'm going to do is, with the other games not played on the video, I've got a universal results table that History Maker Baseball has, and I'll just roll. You basically will roll one roll of the dice, determines wins and losses. There's no stats, just wins and losses. And that's all I'm doing is wins and losses. I'm not keeping any stats, just wins and losses. And the other thing I'm thinking about doing to go with that is also playing out all the remaining games of the Washington Nationals to see if I can do better than Dave Martinez. That's a side thing there. There won't be videos of that, but I might play those offline and maybe put the results as part of the video, or maybe something on Facebook. I haven't decided yet. Depends on my time and how much I've got. My priority though is to play one game a day, one video of each of the games, and if I can still have time to do the Nationals one, then I'll do it. If not, I'll just do the universal charts for them as well. So that's it from the ballpark in Arlington. And what I understand is this is the last year for the ballpark in Arlington. They're going to a new stadium next year, I believe. So nice little stadium they've had there for a while that took over for the previous stadium they had, which really wasn't very good at all. This one was actually a pretty nice stadium, I thought, but I guess they want to have something indoors for the heat and so forth, so it makes sense to me. Retractable dome, I guess. So that's going to do it from here. I hope you'd enjoyed these previous couple of months of Manic Mondays. And this, like I said, is the last one for a while. The White Sox replay has been put on the back burner until this History Maker thing is done, because I'm putting all my time and energy into that, so I won't have time for anything else. And I hope, like I said, hope you, Earls, hope if you're watching this, I hope you enjoyed that. Tenacious, if you're watching this, you're sorry about your Phillies. Doc Holliday just didn't have it. And Tabletop, if you're watching, congrats to you and the Rangers as they get some vindication in that 2011 season. So until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.